Hi everybody, and welcome to this week's episode of Heel Heat, the TNA edition. My name is George Coles. This is my tag team partner, Bart Gunn.
Billy and Chuck, huh?
Damn right, Billy.
Oh, Gary Rhodes, by the way.
And the first thing I want to talk about, it's being as this is a TNA and More show, it's a challenge that we've entered into as Heel Heat. I'm actually going to be doing the challenge.
Yes, I ain't going to do it.
It's been put out by our friend Colt Mo over at Colt Moo. It's called the First Massive International YouTube Food Challenge. And basically what it is who could drink 2 Bud Light Chiladas, 24 ounces, the quickest. We're going to enter this. We're defending the honor of wrestling shows all on the internet.
Living legend.
We don't think that a food show should win it, especially since, you know, wrestling has a long history of drinkers like Stone Cold and the Sandman. So we're going to defend the honor of wrestling shows. We're in the challenge. We're going to post a video. Everybody's posting a video the same day, September 22nd at 6 a.m., which is the start, that's Eastern Time. That's the start of Oktoberfest in Germany. But we're going to enter that challenge. Look out for that. Colt Moo, we're going to put a link to show you the video where he's challenged it. If you want to get into it as well, if you have your own channel, more than welcome to.
I would do it if it wasn't the
Chilada?
Chilada, yeah. It's just, I don't think that tomato and beer is a good mix.
No. But
some people like it.
It's going to be the first time I try it. I'm not too excited about it. It's not something that it sounds like I like. I'm a Coors Light guy.
Yeah, most women are.
Yeah.
Bud Light, baby, it's the best.
What? Why do you have a 6-pack of Zima in the fridge?
Shh, don't tell nobody.
Appletini?
Appletini, Brian.
But anyway, going into the wrestling, we're going to talk about the TNA Impact show for the week. The first thing they started off with, Sting came out to the ring and called out the Aces and Eights. They had the TNA basically gang war against Aces and Eights, and
which happened all night, so if we go back and forth on it, it's just because it was happening all night.
Yeah, it was happening all night. It was a reoccurring event all through the show. They got 2 guys came out to the ring. They unmasked one guy, and I have no clue who he is.
Some jobber. You know, my opinion on it is they should have did one of their names.
Yeah.
You know, Luke Gallows or whoever else is on there that, you know.
Whoever it might be, you know, Cliff Compton, whoever the rumor guys, Wes Briscoe. Yeah. You know, all the guys are rumored to do it. There should have been a name unmasked.
I think it would have been smarter with Briscoe since he showed up at the last pay-per-view.
Yeah.
And he was bowling around with Angle.
Yes.
So then it could be like, well, are you part of it too, Kurt? You know, something like that. Something to throw a little chink into it or something. You know, it was kind of...
Yeah, and that was the thing. Like, the whole thing with the Aces and Eights, their upper hand is no one knows where they are. Well, they had several times to unmask these guys, and they didn't.
Exactly.
A couple times you could see Kurt Angle was protecting one's image, holding his arm over his face.
Does he protect his image?
Or protecting...
Well, Kurt's always protected his image.
No, he hasn't. No. Have you seen Kurt's Twitter?
No.
Jesus Christ, man.
Speaking of beer challenges, huh? It looks like he did one before he took it.
If someone's Twitter got more hacked than Kurt Angle's, I'd like to see who that is.
I'm so sorry that I said those bad things about you. I didn't mean it.
Yeah.
And the next week...
Same shit.
Exactly.
And then after that, you know, we had the Divas match, the Knockouts match.
Knockouts, yeah.
Tara beating Miss Tessmacher. It is what it is. It's a Knockouts match.
Well, it builds up for a championship match next pay-per-view.
Until Kong comes, I could give a shit about the Knockouts.
Yeah. Well, you have an infatuation with Kong, don't you?
I think I like her. I like the gimmick. I like women that can actually wrestle.
Yeah.
I like Beth Phoenix. I like Kong. I like Natalie Neidhart.
Yeah.
I mean, and Sarah Del Rey, who's going to be coming to WWE scene. I like the girls that can actually go in there and put a match. I like wrestling.
Exactly. You know who really changed her whole career around was Trish Stratus back in the day.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, she went in there as a fitness model and actually learned how to wrestle. And that's what they're lacking right now. I've heard that Hunter is actually going for some of the knockouts.
Yeah. Which he should. The knockouts are better than the Divas.
Yeah.
They might not be better looking, but they're better in
You mean
ring.
to tell me ODB isn't the hottest looking thing you've ever seen?
She might be to you, GR.
Eric Young is too. Speaking of Eric Young,
Eric Young's the hottest thing you've ever seen.
No, that's her husband. Especially speaking of Eric M, I'm trying to segue into just a little bit about his fishing show. You know, I mean, hey, gotta push Eric a little bit. I like Eric.
I do too. He's a good character, and
Yeah.
Then we got from there. We got the three-way between RVD, AJ, and Robbie E. Standard three-way.
Robbie E likes three-ways.
I've heard this well, but Robbie E went over, probably the biggest win of his career.
Yeah.
And you had the one point AJ was in the match and it didn't go so well. GR.
The Pat O'Connor Sin Cara Memorial Trophy goes to
the Memorial Botch of the Week trophy.
I just botched it. Sorry.
Goes to AJ Styles for the huge botch he had in the middle of the match. Not that AJ hasn't botched before, but
AJ,
it was on the Sin Cara level of botching.
AJ, say sorry to Mellow number 5.
Anyway,
just saying.
Then we had a Jeff Hardy versus Robbie T. You had the drug addict versus the steroid addict. And pretty uneventful match, nothing special.
And he came out dressed in green though.
Ooh. Is that to sell new green merchandise?
Who knows?
The guy sells merch like crazy. The kids love him. I'm just not a fan of him anymore.
So is his dealer.
I'm over.
But I always just thought Matt was a better performer, better talker.
Yeah, Matt was better in the ring too, I think.
Oh, he's a better storyteller. You could tell a
Jeff
story.
had better spots, but Matt could wrestle a better match.
Honestly, when watching him back in the day, I didn't think he'd still be, walking, let alone wrestling.
No, and then
drugs do wonders.
Yeah, they do, I guess, if you put the right ones. But and then we want to talk. Our question of the week last week was, who would you want to train you? Now, GR, I'll let you go ahead and go first since I went first on the last one.
Sin Cara. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, you just botched the line.
I did. I know. He trained me.
You learned from him already.
Well, Mark. I have to say, William Regal.
William Regal. That's
William Regal. He gets heat great,
and he's a stretcher.
And he knows how to work the fans. So if he wants to be a babyface, he could. When he very first came out back in WCW years ago, he was a babyface. Then he went to the Lord Steven Regal, and then so on and so forth. And who could forget the man's man, Steve Regal?
The real man's man?
Yeah.
There you go. Crushing the orange with his hand. You know who I would like to train me, GR?
Who's that?
I want to be trained by Eugene.
Which version? The special one or the real one? Nick Dinsmore's a bad dude, man.
I'm just messing around.
Tell Nick you're sorry.
I'm sorry, Nick number 5.
There you go.
But if I had to be trained by somebody, I would think Shawn Michaels. His track record's pretty good. If you look at the guys he's trained, Hernandez, Daniel Bryan, Michael Shane, Spanky,
and Paul
London. I mean, and that was pretty much, I know he didn't do most of the training. I know he was just there in name.
He's earned a check.
He earned a check, but from that class, and that's the only class he trained, I mean, it was a hell of a, you got some pretty decent
wrestlers. 5 wrestlers. And the sad thing is, the only one that didn't really have the greatest success is his own blood.
Yeah, Michael Shane. And he still had a decent
run. He had a good push.
Yeah.
And until they made him change his name, then it was like...
Yeah, he went through 3 or 4 different name changes.
Yeah, because they had to.
Yeah. And then, off of that, the question of the week this week, go ahead, feel free to put your answers down in the comments, hit us up on Twitter, hit us on the Facebook. What wrestler that hasn't had their own DVD yet deserves to have their own DVD? And we'll tell you next week what our thoughts are, but we want to hear what you think. Put your opinion down in the comments. Let us know. Hit us up one of those ways.
Hit us up one of them ways.
And then we got the other thing that stood out all night, along with the Aces and Eights, was the Sting promos. And Sting, for as respected as he is, Sting all night was shooting horrible promos. I mean, it was terrible.
Not Sting.
No, the guy.
No.
The guy was terrible, and then Hogan didn't help much with his grunt and sounded like he was doing Rip 'em. It was just terrible all night with the Sting thing. He cuts bad promos.
He's terrible.
I mean,
he don't have Ric Flair to hide behind anymore. anymore. And you don't have other good guys' talent to hide behind anymore.
And his catchphrase I've never liked, it's showtime, folks.
Okay.
Okay.
He said it 5 times last week. I lost count this week. I really didn't care. You know, I mean, honestly, but, you know, we were talking about that Sting. He's never really, I mean, other than the face paint and the stupid gimmicks, his promo skills have never got any better.
No. He's, ever since the wrestling's evolved from the, I'm going to get you screaming at the screen, Sting hasn't evolved. Sting hasn't evolved since probably the early 90s. The best run of Sting's career, he didn't say a goddamn thing. And, I mean, it is what it is. The guy's best run, he never talked. So, his promo skills are horrible. He's always been bad on the mic. He's decent in the ring. He's got a great personality.
Yeah.
He's someone that you want to see. There's no denying it, but his promo skills are terrible.
Yeah. Well, the one that should have talked should have been Austin Aries.
Yeah.
He's their champion. He's the world champion. He's the one that should be, you know, leading this revolution against the aces and eights. And you're really spotting the old guys.
And speaking of bad talkers, we had the end of probably TNA's worst angle that they've had going for them. The Claire Lynch, AJ Styles, Daniels Kazarian angle is finally over.
Can I do it?
Go ahead.
That so I was in your spot. I had to do it.
You had to go into my frame?
I had to go in your frame, I'm sorry.
You know, the dirt sheets are saying that Claire Lynch, you know, that people found out her real name and sent her nasty emails, messages, and shit like that. She deserved it. She was terrible.
She was terrible. What do you want?
She was horrible. She deserved getting... I mean, no one deserves to be, you know, threatened or with violence, but the critique is she's horrible. If you watch our shows, we talk about her being horrible, and I'm glad she's off my TV and we don't have to deal with 10, 15 minutes of that every week now.
The only, like I said, Daniels and Kaz, I like to listen to them talk, though. I think they're great talkers.
Do you think Daniels and Kaz are TNA's version of Edge and Christian?
Never thought of that before.
It's kind of the same gimmick.
Mm-hmm.
Except for with an Appletini.
Appletinis totally rock.
They do? I've never had one.
Neither have I.
Sorry. Next time I'm at a bar, I'll try one. Just in memory of Daniels. I'm drinking that beer for fucking Colt Moose. I might as well just try the Appletini too.
Yeah, okay.
I bet you it's better than the beer.
Well, I'm sure it is. I mean, beer and tomato juice. Anyway.
And that reminds me, it's Kaz is someone that's explained, and I think we should give Kaz by himself the heel of the week. Because his promo skills have came up so good, and he's so impressive on the promos now that...
I mean, he was ripping right into AJ.
Oh,
and Daniels helped. I mean, I'm not at towards the end of it, but I mean, he started the fire and kept it going, and Daniels was just adding a little bit to it here and there. That's why I'll go with the Kaz.
Daniels has been solid for a long time. Kaz has really improved. I would say over the last year and a half, Kaz has evolved his character to a point where he's now someone I look at as a top guy in TNA.
Yeah, well, I mean, if you remember back in the day, all the gimmicks he's had in the past, you know, he's finally in his own. I just think he's finally found a group of guys he's comfortable to work with.
And he's being Kaz, and that's what gets over. Being yourself gets over, you know. That's what's getting Punk over. That's what got Austin over.
That's what Austin says. Austin says, you just gotta be yourself, just turn the volume up a little bit.
Right. And, you know.
And I think he's finally done it. And like I said, he was just ripping into AJ, where you could tell either these two really hate each other's guts or are really good friends for getting away with saying stuff like he was saying to him, you know.
And in going off of that, we got the gut check with Chris Louie. And I'm sorry. Other than the Joey Ryan, I haven't been a fan of any of the gut checks.
And they've kind of dropped that down to oblivion, too.
And Joey Ryan, the only one that hasn't won so far, was the one that I was impressed with the most. This guy's yet another, looks like just a normal jobber. He looks like somebody that you should see getting squashed by Ryback every week.
He does. I mean, he was blown up after 5 minutes of working.
Yeah, with Gunner, and he blew. There was several spots he blew in the match. I really hope, if this is a legitimate thing, the gut check's legitimate. He should not get a.
Not against anybody.
Not against him. I hope he get. I want him to see the guy succeed, but come back in 6 months when You've worked a little bit more on the fact that you're out of shape, you're blowing up in the ring, and you're blowing spots. But it's obvious the spotlight was too big for him. The 1.1 rating is too big for him.
Yeah, maybe we'll go work for Vince and put a cobra on his hand. I don't know, but I really was disappointed with the choice. I mean, the kid seems nice. I like the heart-tugging story at the beginning, but I'm not here for emotions. I'm here to watch wrestling. There was just nothing there.
The thing of it is, there's tons of guys on the indies that are 20 times better than him. I mean, you got guys out there, Cliff Compton, for example, Luke Gallows, guys. Why can't these guys come in for the gut check? I mean, I know they've been on other shows, and I know, but still, you got better indie workers that are out there working. A local guy from where we live named Cahagas is a better indie worker than these guys, and he's not getting on there.
That's an hour trip. They should bring him on.
Yeah, I mean, give this guy a trip. I mean, he's got damn good work. I mean, YouTube him. Look up Cahagas. He's a good worker in the ring. And he's better than this kid was. And I mean, not nothing against the kid.
I mean, like I hope he sad story and stuff like that. But like I said, I'm not here to watch wrestling for someone's sad story. I mean, that's how Maven won Tough Enough the first time in WWE. You know?
And, coming off of that, we had my highlight of the night, the Mr. Anderson versus Bully Ray.
Strong match. Straight up match, too. I mean, it wasn't...
A good old-fashioned ass-kickers match.
I have to agree.
That was for you.
He's an ass-kicker. Brock Lesnar's an ass-kicker.
And Bully Ray, I think, personally, is the best pure heel in the business right now, bar none. I mean, he's not trying to be a cool heel. He's just a pure old school heel. Mm-hmm. And I love it. I've loved Bully Ray his whole entire career. The guy, to me, he's one of my favorites that's ever done it. I'm a big mark for him.
I think if he stays, if they do reach a contract negotiation and he stays, they should put the strap on him. He deserves it. The guy's had over 20 years.
Yeah.
And him and Devon were a great tag team.
He's been drawing heat for 20 years.
But he's the main heat seeker of that team.
Yep.
He's...
And then from that, we go into the end of the show, which was another gang war with the aces and eights. And again, they're beating them up, but they're not doing the obvious and taking their masks off.
And another thing you brought up when we were watching it is, like, Hogan's not going out front. He's not going to the crowd. He's not going to...
When the crowd's cheering for him.
I get it, though, now. Okay, he's not trying... And if it is true, I would respect it from him. He's not trying to take any of the heat away from the younger guys. He's not trying to take the spotlight from them. I agree with him on that, if that's the way he's going, because I like that, and I hope that's the way he's going.
I'd be willing to bet it's more that they're working around his hip injury, that maybe he can't... If you notice when they went to the back, he was in set spots, he wasn't moving around. So maybe he can't move around good. Because God knows if there was a spotlight that Hogan didn't want to give up.
But maybe... I would like to think I was right on that. I don't think, but, hey, it's better for the younger guys to get the push. It's better for these younger guys to get... Like I said, Sting shouldn't be out there with him. Sting should be selling an injury and being in a hospital, and Aries should be leading the group.
Well, then you got Aries. They did the thing with his arm, whacking it at the end of the night, which that was the guy they got was Aries. Now, what I'm wondering is what's going to come from that. Is it going to be something where Aries can't defend the belt, and then they're going to give a... And is that going to be the way that Bobby Roode gets a title shot again?
Could be.
Without Aries losing it? I mean... Maybe that's what they'll do at the end of the Bound for Glory series. Put the top two guys in for the title that he has to hold up because...
And they have to go against Bobby Roode in a three-way.
Or Bobby Roode. Yeah, you got to put Bobby Roode in there. Maybe Storm will win the thing and then Storm versus Roode for the title. But that's going ahead of this. We're just reviewing now. I liked it. I think there was some logic missing. Logic to me, if the guy's power play is that you don't know who they are. When you got some of them cornered, when you got some of them beat down, take their masks off. Show us who they are. They only showed one guy, and then a couple of them, their masks slipped off, but the camera cut away real quick.
And the one thing I don't like about it was they were letting a lot of most of the TNA guys, until the very end, were getting over these guys. Yeah. What would be better is if these guys were destroying some of these TNA guys. I mean, they let them destroy Robbie E. and Rob Terry, some of the undercard guys.
Hell, even let them destroy some main card guys. Rob Van Dam is not going to lose any popularity getting destroyed.
No, neither would Kurt.
Neither would Jeff Hardy. I mean, these guys are cemented in their position. There's nothing you could do to take their position away, really.
No, I mean you can pop for a piss test, and wrestle a shitty match for an hour, and they'll still hire you back.
You mean a minute and 30 seconds?
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah,
Trying to be smart. But anyways, I honestly think that's what they should have done. I think they should let the aces and eights get over a little bit more than before that.
Overall, it was a pretty decent show. It wasn't as good as it has been. All the wrestling shows this week have been pretty subpar, to be honest with you. It's been a pretty down week for wrestling, but overall, I mean, it's still watchable. It's not as bad as it has been, but it's not as good as it's been in recent weeks or recent months. I'm glad the Claire Lynch angle's over.
Thank God.
I'm glad we're finally seeing the aces and eights actually do something. But basically, that's all I got for the show. Anything else you need to add?
Nothing else. Oh, Eric Young watches Fishing Show.
There you go. But this has been the TNA and Other version of Heel Heat. My name is George Coles.
I'm Gary Rhodes.
And we're off to go fishing with Eric Young.